Oh, it's this side. Alright, okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to sort out my green screen. Interesting. Ah, okay. Welcome to the stream. I'm trying to achieve a... what do they call it? An achievement? What do they call it? Yeah, achievements in Twitch. And it's been bugging me for a while because it's an achievement that says something along the lines of streaming for 25 days, 25 unique days out of 30 or something. And I thought, well, I don't normally do that. It's been bugging me, so I thought I would achieve it if possible, and I hope to do it by this weekend to get rid of it on the on the targets thing. So anyway, you're kind of gonna have to bear with me a bit today because I've got a lot of client work and I'm doing several things at once today. So I'm kind of I do a whole number of stuff as I've talked about. I've got sort of skills in all various different areas, and I've got clients that match those, that I provide those services and skills for. And so, and in between that, I like to do things in Blender. But this, I've got two projects. I've got a lot of projects, but I've just picked up another little project, which is more of a personal thing actually, and it's a fellow Twitch streamer. And I'll probably talk about that maybe later on today, depending on how far we're going to get with this one. But let's see how we get on. So I might have to go silent for a while, especially if I've got phone calls and such like to answer and things. But in a minute, I'm not making an excuse. I just want to go to this. So I want to get this kind of sorted. I never really picked up on this logo until since the last time I did a video. So anyway, I'm going to shut up and probably talk about things. What I've just done is I've saved obviously a backup to this, and I've duplicated this result, which came from an SVG file from the actual client's logo, which is here. So this is the client logo that I used. It's a PNG file. Brought that into I can never remember the name of it. Inkscape. Okay, so brought that into Inkscape, converted it to an SVG file, and then if anyone, not an awful lot of people actually watch these streams, to be honest with you. But I was actually pleasantly surprised because the last time I imported an SVG file into an older version of Blender, it did it, not a problem, but it was not clean. There was just there was just vertices and edges and stuff literally all over the place. And what I mean by it not being clean is this. So you can see the SVG file there, but you know, the vertices and everything that are part of that, I mean, it's just really, really clean. And you know, when I look at, I can just tell by looking at this how clean, you know, how clean this really turned out. I'm really, really impressed. So this is the client logo as it is. What I want to do today is basically apply, which is fairly simple really, but then I've got some ideas about how I'm going to use this in, I want it to be sort of an eye-catching kind of logo that can be used on his videos and intros and things like that. So I've got quite a few ideas up my sleeve. I mean, I was thinking, you know, the footprint, you know, the print here of the training shoe, which, I mean, I'm just so impressed with how this came out. It's so clean. I mean, that they have obviously done something in Blender to kind of, you know. But yeah, I'm going to be using this, and then when I finish this bit, I'm going to be talking about a fellow Twitch streamer who, you know, I don't know, is she a big streamer? I guess she's certainly bigger than mine. Certainly bigger than my one. And what I'm actually quite enjoying is playing around with ideas for people, because not everybody, you know, not everybody is, you know, can produce art. And this is my art, you know. I can play around with 3D, and I play around with video and stuff like that. And some people, you know, not everybody is an expert in everything. So I like to help out other fellow streamers where I can. A lot of the time I offer my services to people and it just gets ignored. But you know, there's the odd one that the odd person that I like to help out. Unfortunately, and I'm going to rant a little bit here, but unfortunately there is an awful lot of people around who have obviously got really good computers, and they've got all the software and whatnot, but it's not their main job. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same when I was sort of in the middle of doing my photography business and videography business. You know, there were lots of people around who could go out and spend 5-6 grand on a camera, but they couldn't take a photograph. You know, and I'm sure a lot of artists actually can relate to this, where, you know, people say they can do things, but they actually can't do them at all. And there's a lot of people around like that. You know, they've got all this equipment and they can say all the right words, and I've seen it just so many times. I've seen it so many times where people will offer, you know, this kind of unbelievable thing, and then you look at what they actually produced, and you think, wow, you know, that I actually know a 5-year-old that could do that better. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. And yet they've got all the equipment and they've got all the technology and whatever, but what they haven't got is the skill. And there's a difference between, in my opinion, this is turning into a chatting, but in my opinion, there's a difference between somebody who can say they can do something with all the equipment in the world, and then there's somebody who, you know, and can't deliver. And a lot of people tend to be a little bit quiet about what they do, and they just get on and do the job, and they always deliver. And and I like to over deliver. I got taught that many years ago, actually. That it's always best to kind of what is it called again? Something about under. It's something about not blowing your own trumpet too much, but then over delivering on what the client's expectation of something, and that's what I tend to do, because I just don't like. I just can't stand BS from people. There was a streamer. I'll give you an example. There was a streamer that is quite well known on Twitch. She's recently been banned for something, by Twitch. And she's relatively new. I mean, she's been on Twitch for a few years, but it's really only in the last 3 months or so that she's actually got really popular and such like. But anyway, she was on her Discord. She was requesting somebody to do something with some videos, and she was actually requested somebody with experience and whatnot. And my offering, my whatever, because it was obviously on a public part of her server on Discord. I mean, it just got drowned out but by all these people going, and it was just the typical thing that I've seen. Everyone and their dog is an expert because they've touched a phone once, or they made a video 10 years ago, or do you know what I mean? And these people go on and on and on about what they can do, and then when you actually look at their channels and look at the stuff that they produce, it's just what I call template stuff. I mean, anyone can do template stuff. It's the same when I used to do websites. I design websites for people, and I still do website stuff for people, and it was the same situation. Somebody designed a website for a club, or something, and then all of a sudden they were advertising themselves as an expert, and it's kind of a joke, really. And I always say to people, this is what I produce. This is what I can do. Here's the evidence of what I can do. I've got some ideas about X, Y, and Z. What do you think? Do you want me to have a go at doing this? And I always under promise, over deliver. Under promise, over deliver. But what tends to happen is it's very often the other way around. People promise the earth and say they can do things and raise people expectations, and then they under deliver, basically, and it's just doesn't really work for business relationships with people. And I used to do the same when I had my photography business. I would look at businesses around where I lived, and I used to go, and I spent a long time, putting things together and saying, this is what I can do, this is what I've done, here's evidence of what I'm capable of doing, and how I can manage something, and they'd end up with some silly little template somewhere off of a template website, and they fill in the boxes, and it looks like somebody's, and probably they paid somebody stupid amounts of money for a template. Well, it's not really. Of course, I'm not very good at blowing my own trumpet. I base a lot of my stuff on real world stuff that exists, and not looking at things and then saying, oh yeah, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that, and people can't, and they don't. That's kind of what's wrong with the world at the moment. Anyway, I'm going to. So anyway, I've said this is actually still very much a curve. So it brings it in SVG. You bring it in, and it converts it to a curve, basically. And it's at this point that you've got to start. And it always seems to be black. Yeah. So it kind of allocates a material slot to it, and it always seems to come in as black. So anyway, right. So what we need to do, as this is all one thing, I need to now convert to mesh. So actually, let me bring that up there. But yeah, I think sometimes I always have a fear, actually, when you approach somebody. I was going to tell you a story about, something that happened here, where not far from where I live. So anyway, when I was full-time photographer, videographer, I used to, it's kind of a natural thing to do when you've got a business. You want to work with certain businesses, and you think, that'd be really, really good. I can help elevate your, so it was in the early days of social media and all that kind of thing. That was another thing that used to drive me up the wall, actually, was the whole social media BS that used to go on with people claiming that they were experts in Twitter and blah de blah de blah de blah de blah. And I used to get these comments from people saying, "Oh, you're not on LinkedIn, you're not on Twitter, you're not on this." So I thought, okay, I'm gonna join all these social media things. This was early days of Facebook and all that kind of thing, so it was difficult to try and figure out what was going to work for you and what wasn't. And unless you spent 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, blowing your own trumpet and saying how fantastic you were and all that, which is just not me, you don't really get anywhere on social media. I mean, and of course it's all, again, full of BS. Stuff is not real. It's all about broadcasting how wonderful and brilliant you are all the time. It's not real world stuff at all. It's just, and I hate all that. I really do. I just really hate it. Anyway, I'm waffling. So we need to convert this to mesh. So that's now converted to mesh. What I do need to do now is break this up. I want to try and break this up. Now I've got to. This is very high poly. It's very, very high poly, but the thing to do now, of course, is to decimate it to bring the poly count down. But realistically, we're talking 33,000 tries for something this big. I'm not gonna decimate it an awful lot because I just want the quality. But I just love how neat it is. It's just so neat. Okay, I'm sorry, I apologise. I've only just noticed that my mic has not been working. It really, really irritates me how that keeps happening. Must admit it hasn't happened for quite a while, but it's not my equipment, it's not my computer. It seems to be OBS somewhere along the line just seems to lose contact with the microphone. And I've tried all sorts of different microphones, and I've probably been talking away for how long, and I have no idea how long the microphone's been off, so apologise for that. There's no point in me repeating everything I've said for the last 10-15 minutes, because you may not have heard any of it, or you may have heard all of it. I just don't know. I don't know. Right, okay. It doesn't matter anyway. I get very few views on stuff like this. I don't know why. I'm still trying to figure out really the whole Twitch algorithm thing. On a video that I think, oh well, you know, no one's going to watch this. I get absolutely loads of people watching it. And then on another video that I think, oh, you know, this is going to, surely people are going to watch this, and they don't. So I have no idea. So I don't know quite how Twitch, how exactly they do, you know, like where stuff comes up. I'm sure actually on the video that was completely an unknown quantity, really. And all of a sudden I get all of these views, you know, on a video that I just think, well, you know, that wasn't, in my opinion, didn't seem to justify how many views it got, but it did, and I don't really understand how. So I think it's a little bit like YouTube. I think it's kind of an unknown. It's kind of an unknown, you know, thing. It's like real potluck in how things actually work. Oh, liking it, liking it. Not so sure I really like the... I think it looks better like that, really. So apologies for that. I don't know. Of course, you can't go back over a video, which is a pain. You can't kind of rewind video. Doesn't make any difference. No one's watching anyway. I don't know why I worry. There's no need to worry. So I'm happy with that. Let me save this as yet another version. We like saving things as different versions. Lighting's all completely wrong on this, because basically this is actually really small. So if I move, if I go G, Shift Z, so I can basically move this around. if I go GY, can I bring it? Yeah, so I can bring it down this way. No, it's because it's too big. It's too big. GY, if I bring it there, then we get quite a nice shadow. I like it. Wrong kind of light, really, so let me change the light source to something different. It's point light. Sun, way too bright. Spotlight, it's quite nice. Area light is usually a good one to use, but it's casting really strong shadows. But anyway, I like this way, the way this looks. I cannot tell you how different this looks. Let's scale X. Let's just do that because that's better. Right. Save. So I've got a couple of ideas. I was thinking of almost a static shot. Okay, so I was thinking of doing a static. Sort of a static shot, and then having the lighting, the lighting go round, and I was just like, it would just go round, kind of an ellipse around the logo, and you would see sort of, I want to make obviously the shadows a little bit more blurry than that, but you would just literally get the light going around in an elliptical motion. Microphone's still on, yep. And then so that was one thing, and then to have kind of like highlights, especially on the Project Active bit. And then I'd also thought somehow of incorporating this footprint logo into this whole thing, so it wouldn't be there, and then all of a sudden you would hear running kind of, and to give the effect of the whole thing kind of jumping up and down like this, and then all of a sudden you would see footprints, and then you'd get the kind of the slamming sound with this sort of footprint adding itself to the logo. That was, and these things would only really last a few seconds, like 10 seconds or something maximum. So there was that kind of thing, and then I think I could also just do some real simple things like a sweep across the front, so you'd kind of get that effect going across, and then it would pull back and be part of a scene, kind of a 3D-ish lit scene. That was another one. And these are only just like bites of video, really, and that's all it's going to be. And then obviously have this as a green screen, the backdrop, so that, you know, simple things like just that rocking motion going backwards and forwards could be used, you know, with a green screen chroma key to cut it out, and it could just literally be used as like a, you know, an icon GIF just going backwards and forwards. There's a few things. And other ideas that I had were also things like, you know, because obviously they do kind of CrossFit stuff, cycling, you know, the weights, fitness, swimming, you know, all of those, and so somehow incorporating all of those into, you know, something going on in the background. Generally, when I start thinking about these things, I have to kind of mull them over in my brain for a little while. You know, these things, you just come up with ideas, jot them down, and then play around with them, and then all of a sudden, you know, your brain kind of works something out, and it thinks, oh yeah, well, what you need to do is, you know, blah 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 blah. That's the way my creativity works, because I'm not naturally, you know, creative with regards to things like that. I've not been trained in anything along those lines, so I might actually. This just looks so good. It really does. What does it look like in Cycles? It'll take longer to render, I think, in Cycles, but yeah. I think it's Eevee. I think Eevee is the thing that's making it look so good. Eevee is definitely making it look good. It's definitely making it look good. Anyway, I tell you what I want to do is just literally, because I want to give the client a kind of an indication of what, just as a very, very small preview, I want to just bring that up there. Let's bring the camera in. So I think it was Control+0, brought the camera in there. Then I want to go back. So I want to go back. This is another thing that I found. I used to find so irritating. Ooh, okay, no, we don't want to go that way. With the camera positioning, you know, when you wanted to, let's go back on the Y, just very slightly. Cool. And again, I don't know why, but this also used to be really irritating with older versions of Blender, was trying to control the camera. And now it's actually, you know, really quite easy to do. Let me save this 1 minute. Let's render out. Let's just see what this is going to look like. Shading. What's it going to look like in here? Let's go to camera view. Of course, we're not in full. We're not seeing the shadows or anything. Why are we not seeing the shadows? Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, it takes a little while. So really, it needs brightening up a little bit, I think. Let's see if we can increase the strength. I always find this with area lights that you actually need quite a lot more light in there. Okay, that looks really good. Let's get a render of this. We're in high aspect. Okay, so let's just dump that. No, we don't want that dumped there. The good old TMP file directory. It doesn't seem to think that you need to... Why not create a TMP file in the directory that you opened up the Blender file would make sense to me. But it seems to create it on CTMP by default. And I wonder how many people... Well, I know I used to get really quite frustrated with trying to figure out where stuff went. You do these sort of renderings and such like, and you think, well, you know, because I didn't know where TMP was, and it actually puts it into the root of your C drive, which just doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, I think I need to buy a new LED light. It ain't working. No, got no one following. No one watching. What am I looking for? Here we go. So let's put it in there. Wow. When you Eevee again, Eevee is amazing. Eevee is really amazing. Do that. So I just want a very simple render image. There we go. So this is just going to literally render the image. There we go. Boom. Don't know whether you're seeing that. You're probably not. That looks amazing. You're not seeing it because it's popped it open in another window. So if I save this PA 3D logo sample 01, what revision are we on? CDB, I think. B. Save. So if I close that down, we can actually view the render. Now, is that going to bring that into another window? It is, and you can't see it. It's a shame. Sorry about that. I had to silence my mic. Real world stuff going on. So yeah, I'm happy with having got that far. If I open up, and this is, you know, again, I keep going on about the old versions of Blender, but if I open up, let me open up what the old logo used to look like. 3D. Here we go. Oh, it's just kind of no comparison. And I haven't done anything with this new one yet. Let me just show you. Hang on. Right. So if I bring. Right. Let me put that there. Let me display. We don't need that. Okay. So this is a version. I mean, this I think I did 6 or 7 years ago, and I was seriously struggling with this. And I mean, it doesn't look, it doesn't look particularly good. And this was, I think, Cycles. There was another renderer actually in Blender. Can't remember the name of it now. I know Cycles was one, and then there was another one, and this was pretty much as good as I could get with that other renderer, and it was not good. It was not good, and it was really hard work. When you consider what I've just done, I edited the logo file, converted it to an SVG, and then realistically, I've probably spent 15 minutes setting up this little bit of an environment with, and then applying the client's artwork. Colors, onto there, and then I've just produced this. I mean, it didn't take very long at all, whereas I can remember I spent a long time, and it wasn't just because I didn't, it was just difficult to use Blender, really. The comparison is just unreal. And I remember the mesh coming in and looking at it close up and thinking, my God, that is just awful. And so I ended up doing this logo and putting it into another third-party piece of software, and produced the goods. And but this has got a lot of potential now on here, and so yeah, that's that. So I'm happy with that. I can work with this now. I have got. I might actually need to bring over. Let me exit that and go to another idea that I've got. So I don't think I've created a... No, I haven't. Have I? No, I haven't. Right, so let me create a directory for this other person. And I don't think she's going to have a problem with me saying who it is. So... You're going to see anyway, so it won't make any. Ooh, okay. I put an odd character in there. It didn't let me create it, did it? No. Why did I put such a weird character in there? Okay, so. Better. So I want to move now on to let's see. Is my microphone still working? Yes, it is. Okay, so I did a video for somebody recently. I just love what she does. And it's really really weird, and I just hope nobody thinks this is really weird. And if they do, then I'm afraid you have a problem. But anyway, I have. Let me just bring up what I did. Video. Okay. You can go and check out her website anyway. So let me just bring this up. So anyway, I wanted to play around because I love the music that she chooses for streaming. While she's streaming, and she's got apparently permission to do it. Let me move that screen out of the way. Sorry, I'm kind of doing about 5 different things at the same time at the moment. So I'm sure she won't mind me. Okay, so this is Denver Max. She's a suicide girl that she plays games on Twitch, typically Sea of Thieves, which I find really quite good. And I don't know about anyone else, but there are quite a few people that I follow on Twitch where there's just something about some people on Twitch. Maybe I should do a psychology analysis of Twitch someday and why some things appeal and some things don't, because I've come across people that I thought, oh, that would be somebody nice to follow because they do 3D design or games design or something along those lines, and I hate to say it, but it comes down to people's personality. And me being a people person, and obviously a psychologist, I like following people who have got a really nice personality, care about their viewers, care about the subscriptions and all that kind of thing, and at the same time are very good at talking, very good at presenting themselves and their skills and such like. And so I'm sure people can relate. I can't be the only person on Twitch that thinks that. I was exactly the same on YouTube. When I used to use YouTube quite a lot, I used to follow people because they were a really nice personality, and very often I wasn't really that interested in what they were presenting, but I used to have it on, minimize it, kind of do the whole lurking thing, so you'd have it on so that you could hear them, and then you'd be working on something else. And it was almost like the old days of sort of listening to radio, where you'd listen to the radio, but you were listening, but you weren't interacting, as such. And that's why I like doing stuff for people like that. I've got everything in the world. So I made this video for Denver. I think her name is Max. I think that's her first name, I think, but she calls herself Denver Max. You type in Denver Max everywhere and that's what comes up, and I think that's kind of her tag name. But anyway, she does hula hoops, these, and it's just amazing. It's really amazing watching her do this hula hoop. So her streams typically start off with a bit of a chat. She's a real character, and it's just lovely to listen to her talking, and she interacts well with her viewers and all that kind of thing. And then she'll spend X amount of time doing the hula hoop thing, and it's just mesmerizing watching her doing it. And she plays this amazing music in the background, and she's doing this hula hooping with these kind of light. I don't know what you'd call them really. They're not just plain normal hula hoops. They're kind of, they light up and they, the colours flicker and rotate. And anyway, I've been following her for a while. I just have her on in the background. I just like listening to the music and interaction and all that kind of thing. And then she plays Sea of Thieves for about 5 or 6 hours afterwards. And again, I don't really follow that so much. I'm not a gamey kind of person, but the hula hoop thing is mesmerizing. There's just I'm not the only person that says this, because I see lots of other people making the same comments that I think, and I just thought I'd really like to put a little video together with the background music of the music and the genre of music that she plays while she's doing it, and she liked the video, so she allowed me to publicize the video. And if you just go onto YouTube and type in Denver Max, you'll find it. She's done another video that she did a few years ago now, which is on there, but I think she's talking about getting into doing a YouTube channel at some point. But so then I thought I could do something similar. Okay, let me save this. What I was thinking of was, and I sort of suggested, would you mind me doing something? And then I showed her what I did with this one. You remember this one. See, I only did 2 revisions of this. Wow. So obviously I did this. And I showed her the GIF that I made, because Mel Croft, she's not called Melanie, Melissa. So Mel, she calls herself Mel, and she wants people to call her Mel. So I did this as an exercise, and I just thought it'd be really, really quite neat, because Mel Croft likes the colour green. It is predominantly her thing. So if I run this, there we go. So this is obviously got atmospherics, it's got lighting, it's got lots of different, node textures and such like, and different effects, and I quite like the effect. And she did, Mel Croft 07 liked what I did. So I just thought, I quite enjoyed doing this. It was relatively easy to do. Maybe I could do something for, hang on, sorry, I'm not showing you the, so I did this for, I did this for Mel Croft, obviously, which if you follow my Discord and a video, I think I did one video before on Twitch with this, demonstrating how I did it, and the results. So I just thought, wouldn't it be neat if I could do something like that for Denver Max as well? And again, this is how my brain was thinking. I was just thinking that you see, she likes this kind of blues. She's into blues and greens. I mean, she has her hair like this. This is just a screenshot from a video I did, and she's got these kind of hula hoops that light up. Now, webcams are absolutely notoriously bad for capturing frame rates really high, and also the room that she's in is not particularly well lit. It's not that it's not well lit, but it's just dark, and so webcams just can't cope. I mean, if I was to do a photo shoot, I would be able to capture perfect stills video. But anyway, you've got to work with what you got to work with. So what I was thinking was creating something like this M Croft, but not in the same style as this. This was kind of a, you know, a cyberpunk type thing. You know, the Cyberpunk 2077 was you know, had just been released, or it was just before that, before its release, that you know, this sort of tutorial focused on doing that. But what I was thinking was, having sort of, you know, Denver Max as the name, because obviously that's what she's known by, and then I'm not so sure it needs to have anything underneath it, but I was just like thinking I could play around with, I actually quite like the idea of the, so she's into pirates, and this is what you do when you analyze what clients like. So I always go down the same route with things like websites or anything along those lines. You kind of have to look at color schemes. Okay, so if you look at color schemes, if you look at this picture here, you see, you look at, you know, the hula hoop's brightly colored, and it changes and it pulses and all of those other things. But if you look at the hair color, right, so the hair color is kind of slightly different shades of sort of an electric blue, and then we've got shades of green in there. And then if you look at the surroundings, she's predominantly blue and kind of purple. And it's the same with her tattoos as well. You know, there's kind of blue, shades of blue and purple in there, and obviously she likes green. She does wear a lot of black as well. But then the eye-catching and mesmerizing bit to her channel for me is one, her skill in hula hoops, right, which is just mesmerizing. It's the only word I can come up with. And then the fact that that's multicolored. So she wears caps or hats as well. She's got what do they call it? You know, the studs, piercings. So she's got piercings. She's got tattoos. She does sort of throw in various different role play clothing, you know, every now and then. Like she did a Lilu one a couple of weeks ago. So she seems to like this kind of this. I'm kind of letting you know the way my mind thinks with stuff, and how I then bring all that information together and use that to you know, create my version of kind of artwork with this, you know, this kind of thing. So I was thinking, with all those, those color schemes, I was thinking to have kind of, and again, we're only talking about probably 10-15 second video here, would be to have her name, and then maybe not so much in, maybe in neon lights, could do, because that would tie in with the hula hoops. But then I was thinking, you know, of either having a hula hoop come from up top above, and it would just come down over her name, you know, and it would be really neat if I could get it to pulse and light up, you know, something like one of her hula hoops, and it would like come down over the top of her name and kind of just, you know, roll around and settle down. I don't know, something along those lines. Can I throw in some, maybe the texturing could be sort of tattoo-ish, I don't know. But then I think the overall colour scheme, like this is green, the overall colour scheme I think needs to be sort of a purpley blue colour, like an indigo sort of colour. That's the guide. That's the concept, anyway. I had also thought, because obviously she plays a lot of Sea of Thieves, which is obviously a piratey type, and she's into pirates as well. And she did a video recently of assembling a kind of a Lego pirate themed Lego thing, you know. Could throw something like that in as well somehow. But again, what I do is I think about these things for a little while, and then you know, all of a sudden it kind of all comes out, it all splurges out, and then the next thing I'm creating it, and it just all seems to fit together and work really, really well. So this is kind of behind the scenes of now I apart from that, I don't know really anything else about other than the fact she's a suicide girl, and a registered model apparently. I don't really know an awful lot more other than that, so I don't really know what kind of environments she performs in outside of Twitch, or she's obviously been doing it for a long time as well, so you know, I don't know whether she performs in concerts, or you know, things like Glastonbury, you know, that kind of thing. I have no idea, so I don't know whether that, you know, but anyway, that's going to be something that I'm going to be working on. Is anyone here in chat? No, sorry. Is my audio still working? It is. Apologies if you've kind of just come into this. I don't know how much of it you've heard or whatever, but on my microphone, again, not my microphone, but Twitch decided to not allow my microphone again, and I don't know how long I was talking away. It could have been 10 minutes. It may have really only been less than that, but it is really, really irritating how it keeps dropping. And I know it's not my equipment, because my equipment works perfectly okay with other pieces of software and other streaming apps and such like, so this is what I'm going to work on. I like the color. I like the color of the hair combination. There's kind of a purple, and then a blue, and then it goes green. So I think I could certainly work on that on the logo. Yeah. Anyway, she liked the small video I did with the music in the background, and what I was going to do was possibly, well, do I? Yeah, I mean, what I was going to do actually was kind of take this, okay, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it, as long as you don't do a production line of the same thing for the same people. So I might save this file because there's still quite a lot of this, like the environmetrics and such like, which I think add, and they just worked out really well, and there's no point in keep reinventing the wheel. So I'm going to, wow, is that rain? Holy moly, it is. That's heavy. I'm just going to call it that. Okay, so what I will do is start by just literally replacing, I think, most of this. It needs different texturings. I think we can get rid of the cyberpunkish effects of this, and I will just have to try and see how I can fit the color scheme. So all I've done is taken this file and saved it as Denver Max, and I'll just play around with this. I'll probably keep the stage. I mean, there's a lot of it that I will replace, but I like the effect of the volumetrics. It's only 10 to 15 seconds long, so I don't really need to spend too much time. I think the most complicated thing will be producing a hula hoop, which is going to be a torus basically, that will, the physics I can do, I know I can do that, that's not a problem, but getting it to look like a hula hoop that's flashing and lighting and, you know, going around. If you go and watch one of our videos, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It is mesmerizing. Okay, anyone got any questions? No questions, no one's in chat, no one is, I think, anywhere. So okay, I'm going to call this a day, and I will more than likely be streaming later on to continue on with my texturing of the Victorian house. So, but I think people are bored of it now because I'm not getting very many views, so anyway, I'll catch you later.